that sounded way too articulate for Zach Hardy.
I think he's a dad now, isn't he?
What, you mean his son's teaching him how to speak?
He's off. Well, I'm trying to suggest maybe he's grown up.
Yeah.
But maybe that's just wishful thinking.
Time will tell. Time will tell. Well, I was absolutely crap at that, Mark.
Oh, and do you know what I was absolutely crap at? The next two bits of the rundown I haven't updated from last week's show.
Yeah, I know. I read that. I thought, yeah, he's had a hard week.
Recommendations, David?
So I've got one for you. So one of the things I've been doing during lockdown is I've been trying to sort of broaden my musical listening. And my wife had a book on the bookshelf that I pulled off, and I've been using every day. And it's a book called The Year of Wonder. It's written by a lady called Clemency Burton Hill. And it's a diary for every single day of the year. And in there, it gives you a piece of music to listen to every morning. So if you've got Spotify or Apple Music or any of the other, I'm sure, equally good music streaming services, where you can basically just get any piece of music you like, you can put it on. This is all classical music, but I found it absolutely brilliant. And then it tells you a little bit about the composer or what's happening that day. It's usually somebody's anniversary or whatever. It's been great. Not every day do I think, oh, that's great, I'll listen to that again. Quite often I think, it's not for me, that one. But I found enough from it that have really brightened my days, Mark. It's one to have a listen to.
Excellent, good stuff. Classical music recommendation. I don't think we've had that
there you
for a
go.
while on SLP. I've got another thing for listening to, but it's more in our wheelhouse in that it's a podcast. But fans of Line of Duty,
which I am.
Yeah.
Which I am. Very much so. Last night was just nail-biting stuff.
Right, well, we'll do our theories on that. Spoiler alert for people. But one of the story threads... One of the story threads in this series of Line of Duty is about a investigative journalist who was putting together a podcast about police corruption. So no spoilers in that at all, if you know what Line of Duty is. But but they quoted it was trying to be in the sort of following in the vein of the style of another podcast, and it turns out it was a real podcast that they were talking about, and it's Untold. The Daniel. Oh my God, I'm so tired. Hold on, I'll get it off in front of me. This is what happens when we get to 10:30. Untold, the Daniel Morgan murder, and it's about the murder of a private detective in 1987. And the podcast is really good. And actually, I listened to it all when I was gardening, when I was off work the other week, and now I bought the book as well that goes along with the podcast, and I'm reading that as well. Which is half from the perspective of a journalist and half and writer, and half from the perspective of the brother of Daniel Morgan. So it tells like the family story as well as putting in a proper narrative that a writer would be able to thread around it all as well. So it is good and really interesting and quite scary, but.
Was he the guy that was murdered in a car park in London of a pub?
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Found with an axe in his head or something like that.
That's right, yeah, that's the guy, yeah.
I remember that.
The story's about what might have really happened in that, and it goes off into threads that sort of reach all the way through to politicians, significant figures in the media, certainly high-ranking figures in the Met. So yeah.
Interesting. Sounds fascinating. I might have a look at that one, Mark. Thank you.
But yeah, Line of Duty then. Who's she related to?
Well, I was looking on Twitter last night trying to sort of look at the photo that people had screenshot from.
It's just her.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
By the time I got to her, it's just her.
Yeah.
So she's related to herself. I've no idea, Mark. I've no idea. I won't try and second guess Jed. It's a fruitless enterprise.
Yeah, but it's fun, isn't it? But so there's people who'll watch that show and then watch it with subtitles on, and then watch it with audio description for visually impaired on, right? To see if it tells you anything that you might miss a bit. And the subtitles make it obvious that Steve Arnott talks about it being a he, so it's going to be a male. So that, I think, thins the field. Now, there's been 2 Scottish people in the show, hasn't there? There was Tommy, what's his face, the bad guy, real scumbag piece of shit. That was the bad guy in the first series, got killed off in the second series. And there was the guy who was like the chief super in the second series, again, nasty pedo piece of work, whose name escapes me now. Played by the guy who's in Catastrophe.
It doesn't have to be a Scot, Mark.
It doesn't have to be, but I think they're 2 real options. And then
Jed's probably just leading you astray.
Yeah, well, then there's a lot of people have thought from the start of the series that he has some sort of links to Stephen Graham's character from the last series.
Yeah.
And you know, like, kind of why would they persist with his wife being a character in the show? Maybe that's a hint that there might be some thread there. I don't know. But, I think they've got to be the 3 favourites, which probably means it's none of those 3, and it'll be Neil Morrissey character.
Exactly. Anyway, it's great. The series started a little bit slow, I thought, this time, but we're boiling towards the inevitable mind-blowing climax where if last night's anything to go by, I'm going to be scratching my head again for a week after it finishes.
Yeah, that's right. I suppose no significant character was murdered in the first episode, which means it feels like a slow burn for Line of Duty. But the scene with the overturned
van,
prison transit van, with the shootout and stuff, that was fantastic television.
It was. And then the sneaky sniper waiting for them to open the door on the side of the van. Very creepy. It was brilliant.
Anyway, do you want to tell people about where they can get in touch, how they can get in touch with us or find the show?
Yes, I will. Let me just have a look now, because I'm assuming that is the same as
that is the same. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's that I can use that one, can't I? So where they can find the show is at Super League Pod on Twitter and Instagram, facebook.com/Super League Pod, superleaguepod@gmail.com, superleaguepod.com, and search for the show on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Podcast Addict, which is where I get it, Stitcher, Spotify, Overcast, or anywhere you normally find your podcast, you'll be able to find it. And Mark's on YouTube too. I think Mark should start doing some videos for YouTube. That would be good.
Yeah, I don't have time, mate. I nearly did one about the England squad stuff after I'd written it all down, but then I realised I was going to have to watch a game, then watch the football, and then have tea, and then run down for the show tonight, and then watch Line of Duty, and I just didn't have time.
No, I think that's quite right, mate. You'd have to give up your job if you're going to do any more.
Shout out to our friends, Rob's Toy Shop. Enter SLP discount on checkout at Rob's Toy Shop on eBay and get 5% cash back on orders over £5, plus give 1% cash back to SLP. Little Warden, vital alerts for hidden issues. Head to littlewarden.com to see what they can do for you. And Sarah's Bookcase. Sarah sells Usborne books with access to over 3,000 titles from baby to young adults. There's something for everyone. Find out more on Facebook. Oh, and I forgot to say, it's Tim next week. Tim's with us next week. Maybe we'll see if he has a little bit of a lead into the League One season. That's soon going to start. We'll obviously have those Super League games to chat about and all your fan reviews on those. Tim's another Line of Duty fan, so maybe get your theories in, and we'll pop them into the wrap up next week as well.
Yeah, anyone who's listening to the show that hasn't caught up with Line of Duty yet, I suggest you do that.
We said spoiler warnings anyway, didn't we?
The back catalogue this week.
Well, and you know what? It's one of those ones that when you start watching it,
you're hooked.
You won't be able to stop yourself from watching every episode. Me and Emma had never watched it until during lockdown, and I think we watched all 5 series in about 7 days, and that was whilst we were at work full time as well. The day.
Yeah, I can imagine. I've watched each one as they've come out, and they are absolutely brilliant. It's a great bit of TV.
Yep. Okay then. I think that all that's left for us to do is thank everyone for their company and fan reviews again this week, and we'll speak to you all next week on your favourite rugby league podcast, the Super League Pod.
See ya.